Hello everyone. Until today, humanity has explored only a tiny fraction of the oceans. In fact, if you dive deeper than 3,500 meters, the chances of discovering a new species unknown to science are quite high. You may even find wreckage or debris along the way. Oceans cover more than 70% of the Earth's surface, and their average depth is about 3.7 kilometers. Since light can only penetrate up to 100 meters, the deeper waters are always in darkness. Since most of our planet is covered by water, this means that a large part of the Earth remains completely in the dark. Nearly 96% of the Earth's water is in the oceans, and the amount of fresh water compared to seawater is so small that if all the fresh water were to spread across the surface of the oceans, it would form a layer about 1.3 meters thick. 94% of the living organisms on Earth live in the water. This means that humans, who live on land, are actually a very small minority. So, what do you think is hidden in the depths of the oceans? In fact, the deeper we go, the more mysterious it becomes. The lack of light and immense pressure in the oceans make it extremely difficult to explore these regions. It seems we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the ocean floor. In today's video, we will embark on a journey into the ocean's depths, witness how the ocean looks as we go deeper, and who knows what we might find there. Now, let's imagine a fictional underwater vehicle and embark on this journey together. Along the way, we'll take short breaks at some important depths. If you're ready, let's dive in. At 40 meters, pearl divers can reach this depth without diving equipment, holding their breath. However, below 40 meters, the increasing pressure forces the air out of the lungs, which is why the maximum safe depth for non-professional divers is 40 meters. At 200 meters, 90% of marine life is found in this layer of the ocean. Light can still penetrate here, which allows phytoplankton to grow, providing food for fish and larger mammals such as whales. As we dive deeper, we see less and less light and fewer signs of life. We are now entering the twilight zone, where darkness takes over. At 332 meters, the world record for a deep dive without submersibles was set. No one can dive deeper without special equipment such as submersibles or bathyscapes. At 565 meters, emperor penguins reach their maximum diving depth. Photosynthesis is almost impossible at this depth, and plants are scarce. However, fish can still be found, though the environment isn't very friendly to them, and they descend deeper to escape predators. At 1,000 meters, we are at the end of the twilight zone, where less than 1% of the sunlight reaches. Here, creatures seem to have developed bioluminescence to attract prey and ward off predators. Lanternfish, for instance, use bioluminescence to lure prey and scare off predators. At 1,027 meters, a military submarine has recorded a dive at this depth. As we continue our descent, we enter a pitch-black zone with very limited food sources, and marine life must conserve energy. Most creatures here are not actively hunting but instead drifting, feeding on small particles like dead fish, plant material, and other debris. At 2,200 meters, giant octopuses and massive sperm whales are found. There have even been recorded battles between them at this depth. Lanternfish reappears at this depth, using its bioluminescence to catch small fish in the dark. At 6,000 meters, we reach the ocean's floor, where intercontinental internet cables are laid. Over 90% of the ocean lies at depths of around 6,000 meters, which is considered the bottom, though there are even deeper parts of the ocean. Let's now explore the deepest regions of the ocean. The Mariana Trench was formed by one tectonic plate sliding beneath another. It lies at the boundary between two lithospheric plates. The Pacific Plate beneath the Philippine Plate took its current form around 180 million years ago. The trench itself isn't just a hole in the ocean floor but a vast geological formation. It's 2,542 kilometers long and 70 kilometers wide, much longer than the famous Grand Canyon. In the southwestern part of the trench, we find Challenger Deep, the deepest part of the ocean, with depths ranging from 10,028 meters to 11,034 meters. The Serena Deep, the second deepest part, is also in the Mariana Trench, with a maximum depth just shy of 10,809 meters. Interestingly, the deepest point in the ocean is not the closest to the Earth's core. This is because the Earth is not a perfect sphere, it's slightly flattened at the poles, and the radius at the poles is about 25 kilometers less than at the equator. This means that the ocean floor at the Challenger Deep is actually closer to the Earth's center than any other point on the planet. At about 1,600 meters deep, we find black smokers, hydrothermal vents that release mineral-rich water heated to 450 degrees Celsius. These areas are thought to be the cradle of life, where ocean life may have originated over 1 billion years ago. For many years, scientists believed that life couldn't survive at such extreme depths, but in 1960, explorers Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh became the first humans to visit the Challenger Deep. Their submersible, Trieste, reached 10,918 meters and stayed there for 20 minutes, discovering a flat fish in the process, which was an extraordinary find at such a depth. In 1995, the Japanese Kaiko probe reached a depth of 10,911 meters, bringing back sediment samples that contained microscopic life forms like foraminifera. In 2012, filmmaker James Cameron made a solo dive to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the Deep-Sea Challenger submersible. The samples brought back contained around 200 species of invertebrates. In 2014, another explorer reached 8,145 meters and found multicellular organisms and previously unknown snail-like fish, which are considered the deepest living creatures ever found. Now let's travel to the Puerto Rico Trench, the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean, located between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. Its deepest point is 8,376 meters, and it was first discovered by the U.S. Navy in 1939. However, the exact depth was only measured in 2018 using cutting-edge technology. The trench is seismically active, and in 1918, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake triggered a tsunami that caused widespread destruction, killing over 100 people and causing millions of dollars in damage. Experts believe that the Puerto Rico Trench may one day lead to a catastrophic volcanic eruption. Next, we explore the Kermadec Trench in the Pacific Ocean. Like the Mariana Trench, it is vast, with a depth of 10,882 meters and a width of around 1,200 kilometers. It was discovered in 1889 by the British ship Penguin. The trench is home to some unique creatures, such as giant shellfish called Alicella gigi, which can grow up to 34 centimeters in length, surprising scientists, as most shellfish are only around 2 centimeters long. The trench also contains species like the fig fish, which was found at a depth of 8,200 meters, much deeper than these fish are typically found. This discovery was a significant find, as fig fish are usually found between 1,800 and 2,000 meters deep. This video only covered a small portion of the ocean's deepest mysteries. As technology advances, we hope to dive deeper and uncover more about the secrets of the oceans. What part of the ocean's depths shocked you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.